So, like I asserted or referenced in the prayer, God has always been in the business of mind reconditioning. All the people he called had one excuse or another because of the way they thought of themselves and of their condition, until God reconditioned their minds, changed their mindset. And it was in the change of their mindset that their power became revealed. Which means, if you possess the wrong mindset, your power can be caged throughout life. If you possess the wrong mindset, your power, your potentials can be locked up in prison throughout your lifetime. So today and this evening, I'm talking about the mindset scheduled for progress. You can see that the Spirit of God is one. In fact, the minister who just finished with us, I've never seen him before. I've never known him from anywhere. But coming up and touching the issue of mindset, I became baffled. I said, this is beautiful. There are elements of the soul that determine how far, how fast, and how well you will go in life. Take that again. There are elements of the human soul that determine how far the human will go in life, how well he will go in life, and how fast he will go in life. One of them is the mind. Number one is the mind. The state of your mind has the capacity to determine your journey in life. Your mind state has the capacity to determine your journey in life. Your mindset has the capability to position you for greatness. And your mindset equally has the capability to position you for servitude and slavery all your lifetime. It all depends on your mindset. The mind, the center of intelligence, subconsciousness, reasoning, and perception. This is why we teach mind reconditioning. This is why we're having a program as this, talking about mind reset, mind reform, reorientation of our minds, so that we can receive mind liberation for progress. Hallelujah. The next thing, I'm not dwelling on those other two, that determine how fast, how far, and how well a man will journey in life is your emotion. The center of your emotion, the center of affection, desires, and feelings. And this is why we teach emotional intelligence. This is why we talk about emotional intelligence, that deals with you being a master of your own emotion and understanding people's emotion and knowing how to handle people and how to manage yourself. Self-management and people management are the core of emotional intelligence. Many people are there, they cannot manage themselves, and that is why they cannot progress in life. Many people cannot manage relationships, and that is why they have problems in life. They can't manage their own emotion. Many people cannot manage people's emotion or manage people around them. That is why they are not progressing in life. So that is another aspect of man's life. The next one is your will. Your will, the center of your volition. The center of volition. And that is why we teach enhancing your willpower. Liberating and enhancing your willpower. These are different branches of the soul that needs perfect education and training for proper mind or soul liberation. Hallelujah. But our focus today is mindset. And I don't think I will dwell too far in it because of the previous teaching. Mindset is our focus today. And I said to you that your mindset is the way your mind has been structured. The way your mind has been structured. Whether by the environment or by the circumstances you have gone through in life. There are some people that are products of poverty. And by reason of being products of poverty, their minds have been configured to accept poverty. No matter what you say to them, they don't believe that they can ever be rich in life. No matter how you talk to them, no matter what you say, no matter what you show them. I could also hear the minister saying that if your mind has been configured for poverty, if they give you 10 million naira, you will come back to the level where you are. Are you with me? Let me also tell you that all the resources around you, and the resources made available to you are not bigger than your mindset. You will understand the statement as you journey on. All the resources around you and made available to you are not bigger than your mindset, which means that your mindset is higher than everything that is around you. If you have millions around you and you have a poverty and poor mindset, everything will reduce to your mindset level. So mindset is very necessary if we must do well or journey well in life. Your mindset also has to do with the way your mind has been educated. There are those who have uneducated mind, uninformed mind. Even though they went to school, but their minds are not informed. That is why somebody can go to school, have BSc, have masters, have PhD, and the person has chronic poverty mindset and mentality. Chronic poverty mindset and mentality. So we need to possess a mind that is informed. Mindset is a strong mind awareness. Mind awareness. This is why your mindset can determine your journey in life, can determine the journey of your life as well. So your life is a practical revelation of how your mind works. Your mind, your life rather, is a practical what? Revelation of how your mind works. This is simply and very simple truth that we should know. A practical revelation of how your mind is working. Your mind is your life's central processing unit. Your mind is the central processing unit of your life. And whatever interpretation your mind gives to things is exactly what your life will accept about those things. Whatever interpretation your mind gives, that is what your life will accept. That is what will be part of you. That is what your life will begin to flow with about those things. And that is why you need proper mindset for proper interpretation of things around you. There are some people that have this opinion that any young person you see must be a Yahoo boy. That is some people's opinion. That's their mindset. And I will say that it is their country that has conditioned their mindset that way. And let me say to you, don't let your nation condition your mind to poverty. You may be in a poor nation, but not carrying a poor mindset. You may come from a poor family, but not having a poor mindset. I remember those days, according to the story, rather, of the young human rights activist, women activist, Malala, that was seeking education for the girl child. And in her, she was passionate about education. But in their country, there was nothing like that. The female child was not allowed to go to school. It came to a point when she was shot. When she recovered from that incident, you know what she said? She said, you can shoot me, but you cannot shoot my mind. And that is the truth. There are some people that once something begins to go on in their environment, those things will condition their mind. and that will be what they will believe, accept, and be working with. And that is why in our environment today, if you see a young person that is rich, what your mind is quickly thinking is that person must be a Yahoo boy. That person must be a ritualist. It is ritualists that always drive this kind of car. That's the person's mindset. Poverty mindset. Poverty mentality has affected so many to the point that they believe that if you have not suffered so much in life, you should not be wealthy. That is some people's mentality. If you have not suffered a lot, as in suffered a lot, you shouldn't be rich. That is some people's mindset. Some people's mindset also is that if you do not come from a rich family, there is nothing on earth that should make you rich. That is the mindset they are carrying. Some people also have this mindset of, so long as I am a female, there is no reason why I should be rich. I should always depend on a man. Please, you need to erase the dependence mentality. The dependence, financial dependence mentality is a poverty mentality. Financial dependence mentality is a poverty mentality. Females that are always having this mentality of depending absolutely on a man. You will see the lady, the moment she begins to grow up and possibly she finishes higher institution and begins to make some money, in her mind, she doesn't believe in building wealth. She doesn't believe in building wealth. What am I building wealth for? After all, the man I will marry will take care of everything that I need. And so, she spends all of her money on buying clothes, on dressing nice, on to match, and different things, and never considers wealth creation and wealth building. It is also poverty mentality. Poverty mentality makes you to believe that you have to depend on somebody to survive. It is poverty mentality. Poverty mentality makes you to have this, how do I call it? This inheritance mentality. That somebody is liable to funding your bills. My brother should do this to me. He should give me money. That's the mentality of some people. My brother is wealthy, so I will go to him. He will give me some 500,000, some 1 million naira, some 2 million naira to start up a business. That is their mindset, and it is a poverty mindset. Poverty mindset makes you to be dependent. Poverty mindset makes you to have self-pity. Self-pity. It makes you to imagine in your mind that everybody should pity you and assist you. Everybody should assist you. And that is why somebody will come to church and not look for what to do, and is talking about how the pastor should help him to call the brethren together and address them to raise money to pay his own house rent. And yet, he's not thinking of what to do to raise money by himself. It is poverty mentality. Self-pity is a product of poverty mentality. Poverty mentality cripples potentials. It is a potential what? Crippler. It cripples your potentials. When you have poverty mentality, you will never be able to unleash your God-given capacities. You will never be able to. Because in your mind, you have been restricted. The barrier has been... Let me tell you that poverty mentality sets boundaries for your life, which you must never cross. It sets boundaries for you that you must not, in our village, in our family, nobody goes beyond this point. It is mindset. Nobody goes beyond this point. I am not doing anything to break that barrier, to break that jinx. It is mindset. It is poverty mentality. Poor mindset. In fact, like I said, your mindset is your life's central processing unit. And whatever interpretation your mindset gives is exactly what your life will accept. This is why the mind must be properly or rightly structured. And we must also take note of the place of patience in building any lasting or durable venture. I am going somewhere. I'm just giving you the background of where I am journeying to, because that is a mindset we carry about the place I am going to. That is why I am talking about mindset first before I go there. The need for what? Patience in building any lasting or durable wealth. Let me tell you that if you do not patiently build something, if you don't patiently build something, don't expect that that thing will come to sustain you. Patience is a virtue when you are talking about building wealth. Patience is a virtue. It is a virtue that is lost in the midst of believers today, because everybody's slogan now is Jehovah sharp sharp. There are some slogans that the prophetic may use at times, possibly because of the way the prophet is being led. But does not mean that it is a slogan that should be a life pattern, because it is breaking life's order. God is the God of order. God is the God of principle. In fact, the principle of God is that there must be work before food. That is the principle of God. If you change the order to eat, to seek food before work, you are reversing, you are turning upside down the order of God. So patience is a virtue that is necessary in building any lasting or durable wealth. Do you know that your mind can create a false reality? Your mind can create a false reality. Something that is not real, but it is looking real to you. Something that is false, but it is looking very real. Your mind can create it. Let me refer to this illustration. Hopefully, it will help someone to relate this statement, to understand it well. I remember when I was small, I had fear. I was asked to pick up something from the room. When I got into the room, I saw something on the wall. The moment I looked at the wall, I saw something. Now, I never knew that it was my mind that was working. But as my mind was working, a reality was being created. And that reality was very clear to all my senses, but it was a false reality. I saw something on the wall. As I saw that thing, I saw it having hands, 2 hands. So I looked away. I wanted to concentrate on what they asked me to bring. As I took a glance at it again, I saw that the thing had head. So I was, As I took more cursory look, I saw it had grown legs. I was trying to ignore it, but my mind was not ignoring it. I looked again. I saw the thing moved away from the wall. And I saw it coming in my direction. And it was coming this way and coming this way. The moment I saw that it was coming to me and it was about to grab me, I screamed and I jumped out of the room. Only for somebody to follow me to the room and on light. It was just hanger that was on the wall. Do you know that it looks funny, but can you apply it to what we are saying now? Poverty, you see, let me not use poverty first. Your mindset can create what? A false reality. Your mindset can create a false reality. Something that didn't have head. Something that is not a human being. Something that does not have hand. My mind had already created a perfect picture, and I was seeing the picture with my eyes. As in my 2 eyes were seeing the picture. Which means that your mind can affect your eyes. Your mind can affect what you see. And let me now relate it to what we are saying. Your mindset can determine your views about things in life. Your mindset can determine your views about things in life. That is why you see some people have a very nasty view about about many things in life. They have some funny view about making money, about wealth. Some people see it as if you have too much wealth, you are going to backslide. That is some people's view, some perception of people. If you have too much wealth, you are going to backslide. In fact, there is no way you can be too wealthy and be a Christian. That is some people's mindset. Am I correct? That is the mind that some people carry. And I tell you, that mindset is a product of what? Poverty mentality. Poverty mentality gives such mindset. Do you know, like I said, your mind can create a false reality, make you believe it, and keep you dwelling in that falsehood for ages. You can remain in that falsehood for ages. Just like some people said, they are going through the trauma of the prophet. The trauma of the prophet, even when they are not even near to being a prophet. The price they are paying for their anointing, even when there was no singular anointing on their head. So it's very funny. You cannot be more powerful than your mind. What did I say? You cannot be more what? Powerful than your mind. Defeat or success first occurs where? In the mind. That's where it first occurs. And I want to say to you, nobody was born poor, but the mind configured people to be poor. Nobody was born rich, but their mind configured them for wealth. You are not born poor. In fact, everybody sitting down here has the potentials to be poor. And everybody sitting down here also has what? The potentials to be rich. We have the both potentials. You have the potential to be poor, and you have the potential to be rich. It all depends on where your mind has chosen to tilt to. May your mind not tilt to poverty. In Jesus' name. This is why training the mind regularly with positive and relevant information is a necessity. Else, you will be as stale as your mind. Training the mind is a constant necessity. Else, your life will be as stale as your mind. And that is just the truth. You need to train your mind regularly. Get good information. Listen to good information. Receive good information. Go for good trainings. And know, while people are saying that there is poverty everywhere, there is no money in Nigeria, there are those that are seeing money all over the places. Am I correct? Yes. So we need to change our mind. Your life will progress according to the level of progress in your mind. Your life will progress according to the level of progress in your mind. Let me tell you this. Conversely, if there is no progress in your mindset, there can be no progress in your life set. There can be no progress in your life, which means you need to work on your mind. And that is why we have come for mind reconditioning. Your mindset, as it pertains to money, I'm coming home now, can influence and affect your overall attitude towards money making. Your mindset, your overall belief about money can affect your overall attitude towards money making. Many people believe that the moment you start making money, then you will be a sinner. That is why some people don't venture into making money. And some people use some scriptures they misunderstand as consolation for poverty. In fact, let me tell you that poverty mentality has scriptures for consolation. It has scriptures for consolation. You will always have a lot of scriptures to quote. Oh God, give me not wealth, so that I will not be too rich and sin against you. Abraham was wealthy. I don't know whether Abraham went to hellfire because of his wealth. And there are many other wealthy people that have gone to heaven. But it is you that your own poverty or your own wealth want to lead you to hell. And then they will also scriptures that they misunderstand and begin to misquote them. Praise the Lord. Money in the hand of a sinner is a disaster. Money in the hand of a sinner is a disaster. And that's what we must know. So if you are a saint and money is not your hand, the sinner will rule over you. The minister said that the poor is a servant to the rich. But he didn't tell us the spiritual state of the poor and the spiritual state of the rich. Which means that the spiritual state of the poor can be righteous, and the spiritual state of the rich can be what? Sinner. But whether you like it or not, that sinner will be a ruler over you. True or false? And when a sinner rules over you, he will compel you to commit sin. True or false? And if you will not commit the sin, he will sack you from his job. True or false? And you will go back to your house to continue with your poverty. Simple and short. The wealthy man will tell you, if you don't palm the hair and wear the trousers and do the cosmetics, you cannot be a secretary in my office. And in my office, I pay secretary 500,000. Oh yeah, choose, righteous sister. Now, choose now. You cannot choose. So because the rich will always rule over the poor, and they will always be the policy makers. Now, there are some mindsets too that we need to correct about making money. Some improper mindset about money. Like I told you, I'm joining somewhere, not in that line that he took. Number one is quick money. Quick money mindset. There is need for us to erase this mindset. Quick money. This mindset is what gives back to those who want money's turnover to be very huge with little investment. That can be make the successive money that is coming, the returns that is coming. They want it to be very huge. Let me give you an illustration. Like 5 million naira, get 5 million naira in 3 weeks after investing 100,000 naira. Quick money. That is part of this mindset that drive people into this kind of thing. It's a wrong perception about money that needs to be corrected. Another perception about money is they want fast money. There are those that making money, they believe that it should be fast. If the process is not fast, they are not ready to go into it. It must be fast. They want to make money fast. Let this thing be fast. Bro, that investment we did, that is after 2 days. So it's supposed to have been yielding now. How much has it yielded now? This thing should be fast. So if it is not fast, like if you are discussing with some people about, that is why people fell for MMM. That is why they fell for so many investment schemes that have what? Closed. That are shut down and people are in tears. And some people made millions at the expense of those who cried under them. Because when you build such pyramid that is not on a service, and it is not on a product, and it is not on any intellectual material, intellectual product that you are selling, and you are building a pyramid, it will get to a point where there will be no ability to sustain the pyramid anymore. The next thing that will happen is what? A collapse. Those at the top who first came into the pyramid will pack the wealth. The people that are under will go home crying. And I tell you, by the principle of God, there is no righteousness in it. It is unrighteousness and it is ungodly. But what leads believers into such? Fast money. They want fast money. This thing should be fast. This investment we made should come fast. And another syndrome is huge money. Can somebody say something huge? I think that's the slogan among young people these days. Something huge. Huge money. They are expecting something huge. Hallelujah. These ones believe that if they must do anything worthwhile, they must have one big money they are expecting from it. And also talking about starting a business, they also want to start huge. They want to start huge. That is why you see many people cannot do certain businesses. What are you waiting for? I need capital. You see, I know what to do to be rich. And you see them talking, I know what to do to be rich. I know what to do. I'm waiting. When I get something huge, I'm waiting for something huge. If somebody just give me 10 million naira now, somebody that has not managed 1,000 naira wants to manage 10 million naira. Somebody they gave 100,000 naira and he couldn't manage it. He couldn't manage a petty business. He couldn't build it. With patience and consistency, he's looking for 10 million naira for business. He's expecting something huge. He wants to start huge. That's another thing that has killed people. Another mind that some people carry is free money. Can we say free money? Yeah, free money. They are waiting for free money. That is why they have remained in poverty. They are waiting for free money. They are just looking for one day that somebody will just come and carry one big money and give to them. See, there is need for you to be a mature believer. By the grace of God, as a pastor, I believe in divine favor. Are we together? Are we together? I believe in divine favor. But we must balance up our understanding. I pray for my church members for divine favor, and people testify of divine favor. Some will testify after prayer that week, as I decree, it must happen this week. Someone will just call them on phone, some hundreds of thousands into their account, bam, and all of that. I believe in divine favor, and it happens. Are you with me? But when you now sit down and you are waiting, Obaton go fole, ole, o ma shole lo. That is some people's prayer. You know what it means when I mean Obaton go fole? The God that gives glory to the lazy people. That God should carry lazy glory and give them. I say continue your laziness. Glory is coming. Are we together? Don't just sit down looking for free money. You must cancel that mindset. Another thing is effortless money. These ones do not even want to work at all. There are the categories of some people, like I remember a brother who sleep in the church. He will just sleep in the church. Early in the morning, he will wake up, he will bathe. Like I told you that the pattern of my talk is different from that other one. You see, it's different now. But it's all about what? Mindset. He will sleep in the church, wake up in the church, and then he will dress very neat and walk around the street and come back and sleep till evening. Not doing any, he doesn't look for anything to do. When it is in the evening that he knows that people are returning from work and from business, then they will go into the bus and preach and share envelope and tell them to support the ministry. Support the ministry. People that are looking for effortless money and free money. And he will just be there. There are those who even target brethren that they will go and ask for money after church. They are not doing anything. They are not making any effort. I am not talking about somebody who is in genuine need. Are you with me? We are balancing what? Knowledge. Not somebody with genuine need, but somebody who doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to do anything to help himself. Introduce him to a business, then I cannot do that business. The Lord told me that I should not work. The Lord spoke to me expressly that I should not do anything, that He's going to settle me. God spoke to me expressly. As I was doing 7 days dry, I heard His voice. He spoke by audible voice into my ear. He says, son, don't do any work anymore. Because I am planning to settle you. And then he's waiting for the settlement. After service, he'll go and meet a brother and beg for money. After service, disturbing people's peace. Whenever he hears that so brother has money, that is change in his hand, that brother is the next target for begging. He's the next target. He has his target. He has a list where he writes a list of people that he is recycling it. I beg this one in January. If I go back to him, he will say he does not have. Let me keep him till December. Or after 6 months, I will recycle it. He knows the appropriate season to go and beg. He doesn't want to work. Look at him. He's not making any effort at all to improve his condition. He just wants to be begging money here and there. And that is begged money. These ones have self-pity and believe that people should help them. They feel those who don't help them are evil people. And that is why they have hatred for some rich people in the church. In fact, rich people are now afraid of showing themselves in the church because many brethren will line up to come and beg. And if he does not help them, they will say he is a wicked person. That bro is a stingy person. That bro is a wicked person. You see all these rich people in our church, they are very wicked, very stingy people. They don't always give people any money. In fact, the Lord told me that he's going to dry up their wealth. Because of their stinginess, the Lord said that the cry of the poor like us has reached into his ears. As I was fasting, the Lord spoke to me. Beggar. So you see, some people carrying that kind of mindset too in the church. There are those also who want to live on borrowed money. Borrowed money. In fact, these ones, they can borrow to fund borrow. Borrow to fund borrow from January to December. They will borrow from this one January. In February, they will come to you, borrow and fund that one. In March, they will borrow from you and fund February own. In April, they will borrow from you and fund the one of March. In May, borrow and fund the one of April. That's how they'll be recycling it till December. When they come to January, they will start again. Borrow to fund borrow. And if you look at what they are borrowing for, they are not borrowing to buy assets. They are not borrowing to establish business. They are not taking loan to strengthen their business. They are borrowing to live luxurious life. And one of the worst kind of borrowing you can do in this life is to borrow to eat. Take it again. One of the worst kind of borrowing you can do in this life is to borrow to do what? To eat. It's a terrible form of borrowing. May you not come to that state in Jesus' name. We are balancing our mindset. Are we together? There are those who even borrow to put fixtures in their house. That's very funny kind of borrowing. Somebody went to borrow money, rented an accommodation, and went to borrow money. Ask me, what did he borrow to do? What did he borrow for? Can you ask me, what did he borrow for? He borrowed to fix tiles and to fix wallpaper. He borrowed to fix tiles and wallpapers and does not have the salary to sustain what he borrowed. It's a foolish borrowing. That is the mind some people are carrying. And it is surprising that all of this category of people I'm saying, they are inside the church. True or false, they are inside the church. That is why many things don't move in the church. Many things don't move because you see some unbelievers, they don't live by these nasty things. They have principles. No wonder Jesus Christ said that the children of this world are in their generation what? Wiser than the children of the kingdom. Some unbelievers will never borrow for that kind of thing. Never. They will never borrow for that kind of thing. But a Christian will borrow for that kind of thing and be speaking in tongues all about. And when those who need their money come to him, he will say they are persecuting the saints. Yeah, they are persecuting the brother. For the scripture says, thou shalt not take your brother to court. And all the people with this kind of mindset also have scriptures for defending themselves. Am I correct? They also have scriptures for defending themselves. Another problem we see is the suffering mindset. I think we have addressed that one enough, but just to mention it. The suffering mindset. These ones believe that they must suffer for a long time or grow old and have gray hairs before they become rich in their lives. They believe that they must suffer for a long time. So if they ever see a young person that has money, they will say, interview that brother very well. The spirit in me is telling me something about him. He must have defiled his hand. He must have defiled his hand. Interrogate him very well. And they will even copy. That's what they believe. That if you are young, you shouldn't be rich. Now, poverty mentality. These ones believe that they are just destined to be poor, that they cannot be rich. Do you know that there are also those who believe that if they become rich, robbers will come for them? True of us, there are those who are afraid to hold 100,000 on the street. If it has happened to you, can you wave your hand? Sincere people, if it has happened to you, can you wave your hand? That thank God for those who are sincere. God bless you, sir. God bless you. Sincere ones. If you hold 100,000 naira in your pocket as they are walking on the road, if somebody touched them with body, that's how they are walking. They believe that once they have a kind of good money in their hand, robbers must come after them. That is their mentality. That's their mindset. And you need to correct that mindset. It is all of these mindsets put together that has made people to refuse to go through processes of building wealth. Process of building wealth. Process. A youth that wants quick money, he was asked to go and serve a man. In those days, it was just Nokia that we were using. No, there was no Android phone. And I have seen the future of phone. I've seen the future of phone at that time. Because this Nokia QWERTY key just came out that time. Sold for 13,000 naira then. I had that one. The latest one then. And then I was using that QWERTY key. I asked him, go and serve a man that was importing phones. And I've seen the future of this thing, that this thing is going to boom in the future. He agreed. He went to learn. After about 3 weeks, he returned. He said he was not interested in serving anymore. I said, why? He said that Madam reduced the meat he always eats. That he eats with 2 meats. That Madam always give him 1, sometimes no meat. And that he was using 2 phones already. That they asked him not to be using phone at all. That he should be using just Nokia Touch. So that when they want to call him, they can call him and give him information. The young man said that he is not that, then when will this money come? He said he's not interested and he left there. Some years later, I saw him driving Keke Marua to pay for higher purchase. He left church. He doesn't go to church anymore. I said, why don't you come to church? He said he is running to meet up. That if he comes to church on Sunday, he won't be able to deliver money for that week. And that was what took him away from church and eventually away from the faith. That is it. Lack of patience, lack of humility to serve, to learn. That's the problem of some. So this make me to now talk about patience. I've talked about it from the beginning, so I won't overflog it. Patience. People do not have patience to learn. They don't have patience to build. They want it to come quick. They want it to come fast. Go and check social media influencers. You will agree with me that they built it for over a period of time through consistency and patience. Am I right? No one ever came out one day and became an influencer. No one came out one day and became popular. No patience. And this attitude of lack of patience that is in the young people of our age has also affected the adults of our age. And that's why people don't have patience anymore. Anything they are doing, they want it quick. And some people says that they don't have patience to grow anything. Whatever I want to, I believe in a business where I will be seeing it now. I'll be seeing it now. You know, give me, take money, now. That's all. They don't believe in something that will wait for a time. The next problem is a problem of humility, apart from patience. Humility. There are some people that feel that they cannot do certain things to make money. They feel that they are too big for some things. They feel that they are too big. And as a result of feeling that they are too big for certain things, they don't venture into those things. They say, no, I can't do such things. I'm too big to be a mechanic. I'm too big to be a mechanic. Can I tell you a little story of Lady Benz? Please, I permit you. It's a seminar. Somebody can Google Lady Benz. I met her in a particular event we had. A big woman. Can somebody Google Lady Benz? Do you know that this person was a young girl who was not privileged to go to the university but had finished secondary school and was going to sell food for her aunt in a particular mechanic workshop. In that mechanic workshop, she decided to be looking at what mechanics were doing. Has anybody found Lazy Benz? As she was selling food for mechanics, she will stand and be looking at what they were doing until she learned how to repair vehicle after some years. So one day, a customer came to eat food, and the customer wanted to go. The vehicle of the customer could not start. Then she said, after looking at it, she asked the customer to start the vehicle. She listened and said, I can fix it. The customer said, you can do what? The girl said, I can fix it. Surprisingly, she fixed the car, and the car began to work. The customer said, what are you doing here? Said, I'm selling food for my aunt. What about school? He said, there is no money to go to school. The customer went to get form, and that's how she got into school. To study mechanical engineering. And when she came out of school, she became the only female engineer that Mercedes-Benz had for about 18 years. And after 18 years, she left Mercedes-Benz and established her own brand. That is now the one that is called Lady Benz. She's a big woman now. There are some people that feel that I cannot be a bricklayer. I can't be a bricklayer. That those things, no. Those things are too dirty. My hand will be dirty. There are those who feel I cannot do certain things. They look down on so many things. And let me tell you that many things you look down upon, people are making fortunes from it. People are making wealth from it. There are those who have the problem of diligence. That's another issue. Diligence. Another one is consistency. Consistency. Lack of consistency, lack of diligence, lack of humility, and lack of patience is part of what betide poverty mindset or poverty mentality. Praise the Lord. So, all of these things has affected people. And as a result, they are not journeying well in life. Now, one thing I want to talk about is this, which many have ignored as a result of not being humble enough. They have ignored vocations. 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 I discovered that if you talk about vocations, people that have handwork are rare to find in the church. True or false? Do you agree with me? People that learn what? That learn handiwork are rare to find in the church. I have also observed that majority of people that are in this field and are really making money in it are people from the other religion. Have you observed? Has anyone, if I've observed it, can you wave your hand? God bless you. If you talk about many vocations, you can't find Christians there. Because they feel that they are too big for this kind of thing. And some of them also feel that it is too slow. It is a slow way to making it. Slow way to making it. And that is why I needed to talk about mindset at the beginning. We want something quick. We want something fast. And that is why we cannot learn. My brother learned screen printing for 8 years. What did I say? My brother learned what? Screen printing for how many years? For 8 years. And after 8 years, after his freedom, remained with my uncle for another 2 years. Making it how many years? 10 years. Since that time till now, he has remained in business. He has remained. As current trends are coming, he's changing trend and going. So this is a serious problem you find. Vocations like bricklaying. You can't see people in it in church. And that is why whenever we want to do any bricklaying work in church, we must go and call people from outside. You can't find brethren that are into it and that are experts. And people are building houses every day. I mean what? Every day. People are building every day. Go to some places, go to some virgin lands that people are just moving to. Like if you are leaving Lagos, going towards Mowe Ibafo area and some of all those places, you will discover that houses, construction is going on every day. People are getting busy. And in fact, bricklayers are becoming rare to find. And yet, you will find many Christians that will say, I cannot be a bricklayer. I cannot be a bricklayer. That it is a dirty job. And yet, some people are making fortune out of it. What about furniture? Furniture making and carpentry work generally. You can hardly find brethren that are into it. If you find, there are few that are into it. The people that you find there are also these other people I'm talking about. Please, my brethren, especially majority of us that are from the eastern part, look away from buying and selling for a while. There is nothing that wrote the destiny of eastern people with buying and selling. Look into vocations. I'm serious about what I'm saying. Look into what? Vocations. People are making fortunes out of it. Furniture making is there. What about 3D flooring? When that was about 5 years ago, I looked at tiling. I looked at the way tiles was being done, and I came across modern trends in tiling. I gave a counsel to some of our youths. I told them that you are into tiling. The young man said yes. I told him, look into 3D flooring, because soon the world will abandon tiling. Even if they are still using it, but there are innovations and the world is changing. After I told him that, I never knew he took it immediately and traveled to Abuja and paid for learning 3D flooring. Right now, as we speak, after 5 years, he has a lot of jobs to do. 3D flooring. And I never knew, as at that time I was saying it, I never knew that wallpapers will begin to be seen. Am I right? But now, wallpaper is what is reigning. Am I correct? Yes. 3D wallpaper and the normal wallpaper. These things are there. Few people are the people in these things we are mentioning. And before you know it, they make money. You are looking at them as people who don't have anything. As people who don't know anything. Yet, they are making a hell of money from these things. You have graphics. Graphics. That one, people are making a lot of money in that one. Graphics. If you know what you are doing in digital marketing or digital business, maybe we are still going to look at that in that WhatsApp group. You will know more about how people are making fortune in graphics design. Photography is also there. It is a party-driven generation. What did I say? Party-driven and picture-driven generation. And so, every Saturday, every photographer is busy. Even not every Saturday anymore. There are those who have modernized it and repackaged it, and they are making a lot from it. Photography is there. What about fashion? What about fashion? When we mention fashion, the mind of many people will quickly say tailor. That's what the mind of many people will quickly say, tailor. You are the one that chose to be tailor. There are some people that don't call themselves tailor. They are called what? Fashion designers. Do you know that there are those who do not sew, but they create fashion? Am I right? They don't sew, but they do what? They create fashion. They are creators. They create fashion, and many people get paid for it. There's a lot of things you can do. A lot you can do. Another one is food business. What did I say? Food business. This time around, we're not talking about something very big. Yes, we talk about millions and billions and all of that. Start from somewhere. Start from somewhere. Start small. There are those who can do food business. I have seen those who grew food business from petty food selling to become an eatery. Am I correct? We have the story of KFC always there, right? Whose mother taught how to do what? Grill chicken. And he began to grill chicken and supply to people. That is how KFC came to be. There's another one in Ijebu-Ode there. That one is called Musun Cafe. It was just a small food stuff. And before you know it, a big eatery that has taken the whole place. People will leave Mr. Biggs to come for Musun Cafe. Nobody goes to Mr. Biggs, Tantalizers, and all of those things. They don't have customers as that particular one. Beat all of them hands down. And they started from where? From small cooking. You can start these things and grow it. You can start something and grow it with patience, diligence, and consistency. And you become a force to reckon with in that particular field of food. What about manufacturing skills? All these things are there. Things that people can do. Petty things that people can do. Many of us despise petty trading that we can build. The problem of many people that are into petty trading is that they lack mentorship in business. And that is why they are wasting their money and thinking the business is not growing. You lack mentorship. All you need is mentorship. All you need is counsel. A youth called me and said, "Sir, I am into fashion and I'm into doing chips and all of things that I can't find my money." I discovered that at the end of the day, I am always lacking money and begging for money. Then I said, "Okay, no problem, I'll call you on phone." I called her on phone and we began to take inventory. We began to discuss. How does this come in? What do you do with this? Do you take record? How do you spend your money? And by the time I went into proper analysis with her, she saw that she was the waster of her own resources. And I began to tell her to take corrective measures. And she took corrective measures. She called me 2 days ago that she just wanted to greet me. I said, "How is the business doing?" She said she is fine now and take care of herself. Many of us are wasting resources while doing that petty business. And that's why you are feeling that petty business cannot go far. Unbelievers and many other diligent people are building petty businesses into something big. So, you can. Praise the Lord. So, digital marketing skills are there to be acquired to make money. We have talked much on that on digital business, online marketing, multi-level marketing, which some people are allergic to. Multi-level marketing, which some people are allergic to, and affiliate marketing. Listen, Let me make this assertion. So long as this world is concerned and continues to last, multi-level marketing and affiliate marketing are the most current trends of marketing, and they have come to permanently stay. So whether you have bias about it or not, it's not even an issue in the world right now. Affiliate marketing and multi-level marketing have come to stay. You should rather learn how to do it. So if you are biased about, you tell somebody, you bring somebody, and all of those things, then I don't know what you are talking about. So the next thing I will talk about is properly now, apart from vocation, I've mentioned some petty businesses like fries, like frying. Petty businesses that you can do to make money. Somebody just got a place to stay, and with 10,000 naira or 5,000 naira began to fry yam in a particular corner. From there, she has already trained graduates. Graduates from frying yam, some from frying akara in one particular spot, and they are making a lot of money. And you won't know that they are making money. There was one who even branded it very well. These days that we talk about business branding, maybe we can talk about that some other day. How to brand your business. And rich people will look for you. When you are not using hand to pack akara from where you are, but you have hand glove, and then you have this sealed nylon, you have your sealing machine beside you. The moment somebody comes for it, you use the hand glove to pick one and throw it into the nylon, seal it, and give it to the person. How will they not look for you? That's branding, that's packaging. So you see that what makes many petty businesses not to grow is, number one, lack of mentorship. Number two, improper branding or packaging. These are the killers of petty businesses. So you see, like bakes, people going into baking, people are making money from it. You are making money. What about local detergents? Look, doing local detergents and branding it. Making soap. Yes, liquid soap and other things like that. And branding it. Making Dettol, making Izal, and the rest of that. Things you can learn. Things you can learn in one day. In one day you can learn it. And have a market. Look for a market. And you'll discover that the market is too big. Especially things that people consume every day. Things they consume every day. People use liquid soap every day. Am I correct? Yes. The market for liquid soap cannot be exhausted. Just like the market for rice and stew cannot be exhausted. Just as the market for rice and stew cannot be exhausted, that is how the market for liquid soap cannot be filled up. There are things that you can do to make money. What about the sales of ice blocks? Sale of ice blocks. Somebody can pick this thing up. Somebody was sharing with me how they began to sell ice block. And within a week, according to her, 2 days ago, I was discussing with her. Okay, yesterday, Friday, before coming down here. Within a week, how much they were able to gather. And from that gathering and other things, they bought another deep freezer. From ice block selling. Bought another deep freezer so that they can reach a wider market. You can imagine that big nylon. You know the big nylon they use for ice block? They sell it how much? My goodness. 500 naira in some places. Oh, but she was even selling her own 200 naira. 200 naira. Because there is no light. 200 naira. You can imagine some places 500 naira. In that place they are selling the 500 naira. What if you do 10 pieces? 5 times 10 is what? How much did you buy nylon? Simple. The only thing you need to buy for that one is what? Nylon. After all, you get water for free. Even if you are buying water, how much did you buy the water? And I'm sure you will not sell only 10. You sell like up to 20, up to 30. And you are making your money daily. daily. Cool money. And you will be there. People will be saying you are not doing anything, but you are doing something. You are gathering your money until you make it something big. The problem with many people is they want fast money. They want big money at once. They don't have the patience. They don't have the humility. They don't have the diligence. They don't have the consistency to build something small into something big. And that's why somebody will be saying that I am looking for 10 million naira to start business. What about agriculture? Going into agriculture. Yeah, going into agriculture. Many of us don't even look at that side at all. Do you know that there are places where you can rent land for 10,000 naira per year? Am I right? 10,000 naira per year for an acre of land. For agriculture. There are some that are even 5,000 naira per year. People who have expanse of land, they don't know what to do with it. They just want people to come and farm on it. Farming is there. And a lot of people are making fortune, making a lot in farming. But believers, we just sit down, fold their hands, and be praying for divine favor. That is why they flood charismatic hour more than they flood Bible study. Yes, now. Yes, now. That is why you find them in charismatic hour more than you find them in Bible study. That's the truth. Even though we say, we announce, and we say every service is important. Permit me to digress, but that is an unfortunate scenario. To flood charismatic hour and despise Bible study is an unfortunate situation. So you find those who can go into cheap selling, laundry services is there. I found a particular student. Some of them usually come to my house to wash. I observed that there is one of them, a particular one among them, that is faster than the rest of them. If you bring out clothes, 20, in 30 minutes, she's through. And if you go to the wire to check the clothes, very neat. If you give her some white clothes, it will be sparkling white. I discovered that this person can wash very well, better than all others. I've said, okay, what can I do for this person? Let us monetize this ability. Let's monetize this ability. So I sat down with her and we got to discuss, this is your ability to wash. What can we do with it? So, okay, no problem. We began to design business logo. We had a business name, phone number, email, WhatsApp number, and all of those things. We designed a name, got a name, got whatever, sent it to the graphic designer, and they designed a logo. And she began to sell. And in addition to that, one of us also taught her how to make soap, how to make liquid soap. So she began to sell liquid soap and equally to do laundry services. I won't exaggerate. There was a singular day like that. She brought some clothes to the house to wash. And I asked her how much did she collect for that day. It was over 5,000 naira that one day. And these clothes I'm talking about, in less than 2 hours, she was through with washing them. We had a program last weekend. As we were concluding the program on a Sunday, the rest were going to my house. She said, no, that I'm going back to school. I said, what are you going to do? She said that some customers brought clothes to wash. Simple. Look at the student that came to talk to us on mini importation. She's a student in Unilag, 400 level. I was asking her, you're a student? Say yes. What level? 400 level. You tell me that one that I've been doing mini importation since 2 years ago and has made a lot of money will be begging parents to send money to school all the time? No, there's nothing like that. There are things you can do. And that testimony I just gave is what will make me to talk about tapping into your potentials and monetizing them. Tapping into your potentials and monetizing them. Some of us have certain potentials, certain natural abilities that we can monetize. One of them is the one of laundry service I've just talked about. By the time this thing becomes big, the next thing is that she'll begin to look for people that she can pay to wash clothes. Am I right? Yes. Before you know it, you'll say, okay, if you want to join my business, you can join me. So if somebody is paying 500 naira, like she told me, she collected from somebody 500 naira per shirt. You can imagine. So if I now say, okay, 500 naira per shirt is what I charge, then the person that will help me to wash, I'll pay the person 300 naira per shirt or even 200 naira per shirt. Have I not made profit? And the business is going. I will keep expanding. So take a lesson from that. There are some people here that have potentials, a lot of skills, a lot of natural abilities that you can monetize. You can monetize. There are those who can speak very well. I told somebody that, you see this business talk person is handling, even if I don't know anything about that business, all I need to do is to discuss with you for 10 minutes. If I discuss with you for 10 minutes, I will go and think and write down some points. If I come to deliver seminar about that business, you will believe me more than that person. All of you will follow me, you will not follow that person. There are those who have ability to speak. Ability to speak. Don't you know that you can monetize it? These days they pay speakers. Am I correct? It's only to go for some training and you become a certified speaker. And you begin to charge money for speaking. I mean for talking they will pay you. Yeah. I went somewhere to talk and they were even begging me that I should not be offended. They didn't prepare very well and they gave me 50,000 naira because I went to talk. You talk, who pay you? There are some people that have so grown their speaking engagements such that before they come to speak for 30 minutes, you must pay 1 million naira to their account. Am I correct? That is what I mean by monetizing your potentials. Look at some things that you can do. Some things that you can look inward. The answer is inside of you. What did I say? Look inward. The answer is where? The answer is inside of you. The answer to poverty is inside you. Look inward and you will find it. Look at those potentials and go for counseling. And some people are experts in helping you to discover your potentials and how to help you to monetize it and to brand. I've talked about farming. The next 3 things I want to conclude is creating intellectual content. I've just matched 2 things together. 2 talks. Creating intellectual content. There are some of us here that went to school, but what are you doing with the school that you went to? You have BSc, you have MSc. I want to challenge your certificates. What do you sabi inside that certi? What did I say? What do you sabi inside that certi? Come, let us monetize it. Intellectual content. Do you know that those of you that are BSc holders, if you know business studies very, very well, don't you know that you can write questions and answers on business studies and publish it and go to some schools? There are many watchman brethren now that even have schools. Do you know that you can go to schools and sell your question and answers? Yes. You can sell it. You can go into book publishing with what you know. And these days, soft copies are reigning. Am I correct? Soft copies are reigning. You can create intellectual materials, intellectual contents that you can put online and sell and make your money. So, if you went to school, you shouldn't ever say that you are broke. If you went to school, you should know what to do. With what you know, you should know what to do. So, creating intellectual content is there that many people can look into. Another thing is driving. What did I say? Driving. One of our sisters was telling me a few days ago that our sister, who is about a little bit above 20, I think in her early 20s, drives trailer. There's no exaggeration in it. I mean, drives trailer, like that big Dangote trailer. A female, not a male. There are many of us that, you see, the day your mindset will be released, that is the day your potentials will be released. The day your mind will release you, that is the day your potentials will rise. you may never know your capacity until your mindset changes. Many of you have many capacities. I was challenging some people that can create YouTube channels. Create YouTube channels and begin to talk about natural hair. Many people here can make natural hair. And then how you can style hair. Many people can style natural hair. And you create a YouTube channel and begin to style different natural hair. And you are able to do 10 videos, 20 videos. And then you put these things on creating a YouTube channel and then run adverts. Go and ask people on how to run. You had a girl talking about running ads. Am I right? When you run ads, what are you trying to do? You are driving traffic to your YouTube channel. Before you know it, YouTube will start paying you. And people will start calling for you to come and style their natural hair. There are many, many things to do in this age. In fact, we are in an age where there is no limitation. Boundaries have been broken, and you need to wake up. So, you need to do all of that. Driving is what I mentioned. Brothers, please, apart from those who have cars, if you do not have a car and you know how to drive, can you put up your hand? You do not have a car, but you know how to drive. Very well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of all the brothers. You can see where we are. And many people are not even thinking about it. If you don't have a car among the sisters and you know how to drive, can you put up your hand? 1, 2, 3. Out of this multitude, only 4 people. Only 4. It is a sad thing to say in a church and in a ministry. It means that you are not even prepared for the blessing. You are not even expecting the blessing. Learn how to drive. An opportunity came out one day for somebody. I was asked to look for a driver. I looked at my church. I didn't see anybody that knows how to drive. And there were people, in a local environment, there were people doing some jobs where they are paying them 10,000 naira per month. And this one is coming with a high pay, a high offer. Higher offer. More than ×4 of what they are earning. And yet, the people don't know how to drive. Go and learn how to drive. From today, go and learn how to drive. Why should you be 18 years old and you don't know how to drive a car? I now challenge you. When I began to learn how to drive, I was ashamed of myself. I was ashamed of myself that I was learning how to drive at my age. I was ashamed. Why should you be 20 and you don't know how to drive? There are some companies that pay drivers 150,000. Am I correct? And it is not that they will use the whole of your life and use you melt. True of us, and their drivers put on tie and dress corporately. What if such job comes your way and you don't know how to drive? That means you are not prepared for opportunity. You are praying to God to give you divine favor and opportunity. Now the favor has come in form of an opportunity. You cannot grab it because you are not ready for it. Go and learn how to drive. Sisters, learn how to drive. Brothers, learn how to drive. That's another thing. We need to learn driving. And finally, sourcing grants and well-managed loans is another thing that people need to know. I think this one is a very big topic to talk about. Sourcing grants and well-managed loans. So, we have talked about mindset, and we have talked about doing certain things that can put food on your table. We need to change our minds. Praise the Lord. Let no person stay in church and be looking for those that will contribute money for him. Let no person come to me like one came that his wife has put to bed. I should come and deliver the wife from the hospital. And I did. And after I did that, out of pity, the next coming that he came is that I should come and pay house rent for them. I was just looking at him. I don't even know what to tell him. And from that day, he stopped coming to church. Bye-bye. Why must somebody be like that? These things we are saying are in church. You see people that don't choose not to do anything. They are so proud. Do you know that somebody can be poor and proud? Am I right? Somebody can be what? Poor and proud. In fact, that one, I don't even know what to call it. That one is problem square, Abi, P square. Poor but proud. You cannot help that person. Even God cannot help that individual. If God must help the person, the first thing is for that person's mindset to do what? Change. Take pride away and look at things that you can do. One of our pastors was talking in the pastors' meeting we had while challenging people. He said he was picking cartons. This person I'm talking about has a car. He has a car. He's living fine, feeding his family. But what did he begin to do? He began to pick cartons. And was stacking them. Only for him, he discovered that there are those who buy cartons in tons. Am I correct? They measure it in tons and they purchase them. Sometimes he sells carton 200,000. Began to sell carton 200,000, 300,000, 150,000. Just like that. Cartons that he didn't pay for. And in some places, if they must ask him to pay, he doesn't mind buying it. Buy it 10 naira, 20 naira, and he was packing cartons together until he began to sell cartons. There are many, many, many things that people can do to come out of poverty. Hallelujah. Let us pray. Have we learned something? We must pray one serious prayer. Only those who are standing will pray that prayer. We must pray one serious prayer. And what is the serious prayer? Father, show me the well that is beside me. Show me what? The well that is beside me. While you are busy crying, I am about to die for thirst. I am about to die for thirst. There is a well running with water that you do not see. The Lord will open our eyes. While I have spoken as a charismatic hour preacher, let me also speak as somebody who balances knowledge. Do you know that there are those who God even shows well, and they will say, God, that well is dirty, I cannot enter it. He said, God, that well, I cannot enter there to get water, it is dirty, I don't like it. God will show them opportunity. Start selling food in front of your house, at the corner of your street. Start selling food. Start selling Indomie, fried egg with Indomie and some of these things. And before you know it, it can grow to an eatery. It depends on your vision. Let me tell you, if you are doing a particular thing and you do not have vision in that thing will take you nowhere. Check those who excelled and became and grew in all the things they did. They had vision in those things they were doing. If you are doing something and you don't have vision, you cannot excel in it. So we are going to pray and say, God, open my eyes. I want to see. Shine your light upon my path, O Lord. Shine your light upon my path, O Lord. For long I've been searching for your direction. Shine your light upon my path, oh Lord. Shine your light, Lord. Shine your light, Lord. I see many authors of books that are sitting down in church. For long, I've been searching for your direction. Shine your lights, Lord. It's time to pray now and say, God, open my eyes. I want to see. Open my eyes to see the well that is beside me that can sustain me. Many people are into health related issues, solving health problems. Don't you know that you can write a book on that? There are many people that can do a particular thing very well. Don't you know that you can create an intellectual material, intellectual content from that thing you are doing? Those of you that are experts in sewing, can you open a YouTube channel and begin to show people different ways to sew? The beginning, the basics of sewing clothes, the basics of sewing, and float a YouTube channel and make videos, 5-minute videos, and show people how to sew. Create a YouTube channel. Look for how to run adverts and get traffic to that video. And before you know it, you become a force to reckon with. Many things that people can do, but their eyes have been closed. Tell the Lord, shine your light around me. I want to see. Open my eye to see the well that you have made to sustain me. There are things that God has destined to sustain you, and they are inside you. That well can be inside you, and that well can be in your environment. Tell the Lord to lead you on a journey of discovery, both in your environment and inside of you. Potentials inside you that you can monetize. Potentials inside you that you can monetize. Abilities that you can monetize. Many of you are very good teachers. Many of you are good mathematicians. Good people that can teach mathematics. What stops you from picking past question papers and solving everything? Pick past question paper, pick wire questions and solve them, and go and publish them. Go to secondary schools and look for how to sell them and make your money. Skills and potentials that can be monetized. Many of you know so many things that you can put down in books, only to give somebody to edit. After editing it, it will be a solid material that you can sell. Many of you can cook very well. You are good cooks, but you don't know what you can do with that skill. You don't know what you can do with that talent of cooking. Some are ashamed. Shame is one of the offsprings of pride in some ways. Pride has shame in it. When some people are ashamed, what is disturbing them is not shame, it is pride. Can you talk to God in prayers and say, God, open my eyes to see what I should see? What I should discover about myself. What are the things you need to know about yourself that you don't know? Things you need to see about yourself that you have not seen. Things you need to see about yourself that you have not seen. Are you into photography? Can you create a YouTube channel and make your work known? Make your work known. Can you float online classes on that thing that you know? Can you go into vocations? Learn bricklaying, learn furniture, learn many things. Let's throw pride away. Let's throw shame away. And let's put food on our table so that our lives can be better. And we can build up from there. God can reward your diligence when he sees you diligent. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed. In Jesus' name, we have prayed. Father, I pray that you will take many people here on a journey of self-discovery. When you created them, you put in them the potential for survival. There is no man here that does not have potential for survival. There is no one. When God made you, God put your food ticket inside you. When God created you, He put your food ticket inside of you. And that is your potential. Lord, I pray, open the eyes of everyone in the name of Jesus Christ. May we get out of dormancy into functionality. May we locate the well within us. And may we locate the well around us, so that we can draw water out of it and get satisfaction. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. And the church says, God bless you. Please be seated.